Hi, Rich Karuba for bowlingball.com. Let's talk a little bit about the BowlVersity, the bowlingball.com BowlVersity Q A Part 6. We've got a series now of 6 article features where we've done videos with, where we receive about 3 questions and we give answers to the questions. The questions are submitted randomly through comments from the many hundreds of articles we have posted on our site. Comments come in the blog section under each article, and everyone is welcome to add their comments and make their statements and share information with other visitors so feel free to do so. Most of the questions come from bowlers that are newer players, maybe 180 average and less, a lot of times just beginner players. And here's the first one. As a new bowler trying to learn the game, I've developed the slight hook ball delivery. Where should I slide at the foul line to use the second arrow target? Well, excuse me, most of the coaches today that are certified by USBC or other experienced and very good coaches will try to position you, if you're right-handed, for example, and you use a 4-step approach, opposite for left-handers, put your left toe on the center dot so the instep of your bowling shoe is on about the 18 board, a couple inches to the right of the center dot, and try to walk a perfectly straight line. So you arrive in the same place at the foul line. If you do that and your arm stays very close to your body when you deliver the ball, very close to the ankle of your bowling sliding leg, and you deliver the ball at a slight inside-out path toward the second arrow, you'll get about 3 board of a head angle. The center of the ball will contact the lane somewhere around the 13 board and go out to the 10 board, which is the second arrow. Now, when you're sighting, some bowlers have dominant eyes, and sighting at the second arrow may or may not, and even though you see your ball roll over it may or may not, and actually, so you might want a spotter to let you know if you miss left or right of the second arrow, just so you know that. You work on that stuff in practice. Now, you can make adjustments accordingly. You might have to move to the right or to the left, depending on the amount of oil in the center of the lane, how much skid you get, the type of ball you're using, your delivery style, all those things. However, typically you want to slide somewhere around the 18 to 20 board on the approach, using the second arrow as your target, excuse me, and then make adjustments from there. Okay? The second question that we have today is, what is the red pattern oil condition I hear discussed in bowling circles? Well, the USBC has 3 patterns, red, white, and blue, and the easiest one, the highest scoring one, is the red pattern. It's typically what we refer to as the house condition. It gives a license to the proprietor to put up really any shot that they want, any lane condition or oil pattern they want. When most bowling centers like to see high scores for their typical house condition, there's exceptions to every rule, but in most cases it's the red pattern, which means there's a tremendous amount more volume of oil in the center of the lane, from the center toward the edges, and maybe from the second arrow on both sides of the lane. It is almost completely dry, maybe has just a light film of oil, or maybe has a strong blend where it's crowned just enough, but the majority of the oil is in the center of the lane. This is the type of lane condition that you're going to experience most often, and so it's very forgiving. If you pull the ball inside your target, the oil holds it and it'll help it hit the pocket. The oil conditions, the red pattern almost steers the ball to the pocket for you if you can do a couple things. If you're pretty accurate within a board each way of the target you pick. Number 2, if you can regulate the same ball speed and make the same type of release consistently. Once you get lined up, you're going to hit the pocket over and over until the lane breaks down a little bit, a little carry down happens, and you have to make an adjustment. Okay? So that's what the red pattern refers to, typically the house conditions. And our final question is how are bowling league averages determined? Well, the answer to that is you require an entering average to determine your handicap for individuals or for teams based on the rules of a given league or a given tournament. And your average score, for example, in handicap leagues, allows you to compete against other bowlers. So the process kind of goes as follows. Number 1, you add together the scores of your games and then divide by the number of games. So for example, if you bowl 167, 171, and 148, your series total is 486. You divide it by 3, you're averaging 162.5. Well, they just show 162, and the other couple of pins is carryover when you record your next 3 games of bowling, and you have 6. Then you'll add up the total series and divide by 6 games the next week. And typically your average will change more the first few weeks of league because the differences in your scoring you'll see the averages rise more. As you get more games, regardless if you go a little higher or a little less than your average, it won't change the average as much. If your average increases and decreases as you continue to bowl each week, you'll see again that bowlers competing in multiple leagues will show a range in average scores, with the highest average typically being used for entry into other competitive events. So once you've established an average, usually 21 games or more during the fall league season, or even a summer league, some tournaments, and the rules will allow you to use a summer average. But the winter season averages is the one typically that you will use for tournaments or other competitions, so they can develop handicap off those averages. But your league averages are basically just an overall sum of all the pins you knock down divided by the number of games you bowled to give you a general idea what your average score is. And that's how teams are built and formed early on in the leagues. We hope some of this information helps you in some of these questions we've submitted. Feel free to submit your own questions to us at bowlingball.com, and we thank you for visiting.